All right, everybody. Episode one or season one, episode one of the third shift. This is the show we're doing every Friday night, dropping on YouTube late at night.
Yes,
my man here, the co-host, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He actually gave it this brilliant name, so I'm gonna let him talk about it and his reasoning behind it.
Hey, that's a lot of love, man. So it's Malik Allen, man. I'm a rapper. I'm a video creator. I'm a Instagrammer. I'm a Twitterer. I'm everything. I'm what you name it. And we basically came together to create Third Shift as a way for us to talk about music. We love music, and we basically wanted to build a platform not only for us to talk about music, but to also shed light to, some other creators, some other artists that's out there grinding as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was funny too, because we were talking earlier, just kind of how we got to know each other, and it was actually from a hoop. So yes. I think me just following, your social media presence over the years and seeing you make that transition into being an athlete in the music was something that caught my attention for sure. And, seeing your work ethic too, I was like, man, this dude would be cool to work with. So
I appreciate that. That's
kind of basically the story of how it came together.
Yes,
so I'll just retell the story again. How whenever we were in high school playing against each other, we always had to watch to see where you were, and our coach made us watch film. Like, okay, now watch where watch Malik, watch Thurman, and I'm sitting here like, this dude's gonna put it on somebody's head if they're not paying attention. So
man, and I was about to say, when we played y'all, I was telling my boys like, yo, they the only ones that's gonna be able to stop me if I try to go to the rim. So they like, nah, bro, nah. I'm like, y'all don't know, they not guarding y'all. Like, y'all cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of good games against each other over the 2 years that I was at Northwestern, you were at Stebbins, but I was at Shawnee for a year, so I actually had 3 years against you, actually.
And that Shawnee team was tough too.
Yeah, they were tough. Till we met Dunbar, man. They got exposed a little bit. So they didn't know about Dunbar.
Yeah, nah.
We had 3 topics for today for the first episode, and they're actually topics that you pretty much picked on. I thought they were interesting. So like we said, we'll start every week with what we're listening to. So I'll let you start. What are you listening to right now? That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, what I've been listening to now, I love Spotify because they tell you what's dropping immediately.
Yeah.
And Casey Veggies just dropped his Customized Greatly 5. And that spooked me because I'm like, dang, Casey Veggies is still out here rapping and dropping albums. I was listening to him when I was 13, 14 years old. So I was like, okay, let me tune in. Let me see what it's talking about. And it's gotten a couple spins from me now. So, and that's really been the main project I would say I've been listening to right now.
And I'll tell you, it's sad that I always download stuff, but I forget to listen to it.
Yep,
so I have Casey Veggies and 10 things ahead of it. Dang. So I got to go back and listen to it so we can have a conversation about that. Because like I told you, I didn't really get hip to Veggies until I heard him with Tyler the Creator and those guys.
Yeah. I was nice. Around that time too, he was dropping mixtapes. He was dropping singles. He has so much music out there, and that's why I was like, he on Customized Greatly 5, that's a whole separate project from all these other 1, 2s, and 3s he's made of other projects. So I'm like, okay, Casey Veggies, he be grinding, man.
Yeah, definitely. And it was funny too because I know we were talking about West Coast music and rap, and I told you that Baby Keem was somebody I'd been listening to.
He's nice.
You told me that he was Kendrick's cousin.
He's Kendrick's cousin. I thought he was his nephew at first, but nobody really knew their relations yet. But his Wikipedia say they cousins, so that's all I know, man.
I actually looked at his Wikipedia. Did you see some of the projects he's been involved in making?
Nah, what was something that stuck out?
I think the soundtrack from that new Lion King a year or two ago with Beyonce. I think he has something to do with that. Black Panther. Goodness. He had a bunch of different stuff, and I was like, yo, this dude's 20 doing this. I'm just I thought it was pretty crazy.
He took, I'm 100% positive he took the relationship he got with Kendrick and ran with it. I'm sure he did not run away from that intimidation or nothing. I'm sure he hit the studio with Kendrick let's work. I got some ideas. So.
And I'm sure having somebody like Kendrick as your cousin or whatever, that definitely probably gives you a boost to be okay, I can actually do this.
For sure. But it makes me think too about how many of his cousins or family, uncles, nephews was I can rap, I can do this. You feel me? And he no, get out of the studio.
just make it a whole family thing. But dude, so no Sense is like my favorite song right now.
Yeah,
that's been on my rotation for like the last like 3 days. But I wasn't really hip to Baby Keem too much, and because I wasn't a big Orange Soda fan.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of dig through some of his stuff and listen to. And he's got some decent albums.
His whole first mixtape.
Yeah.
There's no misses on that. If you really listen to it, it's really not a lot of misses on that.
Not on that. and like we were, talking earlier, the sound of like the West Coast. I know Dom Kennedy was a guy you were talking about because I'm big into like the West Coast rappers. I think nowadays they don't really get as much credit because, like we said, they don't really have the sound of those guys from the 90s. So talk about Dom Kennedy, like what you were saying earlier, because I was really interested in that, actually.
I mean, I love Dom Kennedy because he has kept a lot of that sound going for this long, and there's not a lot of people that's doing that. And shout out to Nip, of course. Like, Nip was probably the only other person that was doing that as far as pushing that straight LA, sitting on the block, rapping music. Like, that music style has not been around for a while, and I really mess with Dom because Dom put me on the Casey Veggies, actually.
Yeah.
And like Dom be around, like he just got a feature with Benny the Butcher.
Oh, did he really?
Yes. So a New York rapper was like, "Hey, Dom, let's get on this track." So that's why I've always messed with Dom. But as far as like LA sound not getting a lot of credit now, I feel like a lot of that goes into just a lot of the sound has changed as far as like people are singing. People are doing a lot of like instruments and stuff in the background with their vocals and stuff, and that LA sound it's almost being related to just classic hip hop, which classic hip hop is not doing no numbers in 2021. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. I know people like us who are like deep into music will listen to it, but there's so many like kids I talk to who are in our age group. They're like, "What is this?" And I'm sitting here like, "This is Doggy Style." I'm like, "This is like Doggy." And they're like, "What is this?" So they're crying, and I'm like, I'm like, Lord help them.
A lot of people, it's crazy to me, like you just said, like people don't recognize older music, and it's like that's what the people you listening to now was listening to. Like that's who the people you listening to now was inspired by. Like
even sampling,
like all of that comes from somewhere.
Yeah. It all comes from somewhere, man. So I know we started this whole thing talking about our relationship to hoop and how we both now have kind of transitioned into other things. So we're talking NBA All-Star Weekend, looking at the celebrity game, hoopers and rappers, rappers that are hoopers. So if we're looking at that, playing 3-on-3, me, you pick two. Which two rappers you picking?
I'm not picking Lil Baby. I'm starting now. I'm not picking Lil Baby, man. Forget him. But I gotta go with I gotta go with 2 Chainz is on that list because you saw in our last conversation you said you seen 2 Chainz in high school. 2 Chainz has a lot of the post work. He has a lot of the defense. He's solid. He's really solid. And I'm gonna have to go Chris Brown, man. You got me hip wanting to go look at some Chris Brown highlights now. Look up some Chris Brown. He played in this one celebrity game. It was like when he was just on the come up, right? So he was probably like 19, 20. He was the best dude out there by miles. Like it was literally like one hand pump fakes like Jordan, like fade away. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is Chris Brown. Like, he's yanking people. I'm like, okay.
He's a hoop. So wait, I'm trying to figure out. Was he? Because I think I vaguely remember. Was he wearing were they like Sprite jerseys?
Yes.
I remember that because I thought about it. I was like, wait a second, this is early Chris Brown. I was like, I do remember that.
Go back and look at that. He got some work, and it's he don't practice. You can tell he don't practice. He just pull up and just hoop.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I still had that ability.
Right.
Because these days, man. So like I told you earlier, man, I'm gonna have to go. I'm taking Master P as my number 1 overall pick for my team, and it's funny because, like I said, I didn't realize that he played preseason with the Charlotte Hornets and the Raptors. He didn't make it to the next part, but I'm like, to get to the preseason for NBA teams, like, you must be pretty good.
Listen, I played basketball with Division I talent, and I can tell you how good those guys are.
Yeah.
So for guys to excel past overseas, G League, D League, to an NBA preseason game,
yeah,
Master P had to be nice.
I couldn't even imagine Master P like in the league, because who was playing? It was like, this was like 98, 99. So who would he have been in there with?
Shoot, Kobe's and he was playing killers. Like,
yeah, it's like, I couldn't even imagine Master P like in the league with some of these guys like Vince Carter. I couldn't even see it. Jordan still. So it was like, bro, imagine Master P with that. Yeah, T-Mac. It's just like, I couldn't even see Master P in there with those fellas.
Yeah, that's funny.
That'd be crazy. So I'd go Master P, and like we said earlier, I go Lil Durk. I gotta go Lil Durk.
Man, just because he got the cosign from KD.
Yeah, and that was huge. I was like, somebody like KD doesn't shout out too many rappers that hoop, so
KD doesn't shout out any rappers that hoop. So for him to say something about Durk, okay, Durk might be a little nice.
Lil Durk, so yeah, and so yeah, I'm going Master P and Lil Durk. They're gonna be my teammates.
That would be a close game. Your team would have nobody to guard 2 Chainz.
They wouldn't, and that's the thing. That's why I thought about picking Game, because Game's a nice size, but I don't know if Game can really score though.
Yeah.
So it's funny, and we were talking about Lil Baby, and obviously Lil Baby just had a pretty big week couple days ago. Him dropping with Drake.
He did.
So dropping with Drake, the Drake drop. What was your take on it?
I'm a Drake fan, so any Drake drop, I'm like, let me see what it's looking like. So it's at least an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for me, because it's rapping Drake. Mm-hmm. I love rapping Drake. The Drake that will pull up and say some bars, I love it, because singing Drake is it's not great. You feel me? Pop Drake is not that great. Rapping Drake, you could be chilling and play him. You could be at the club and play him. You could be with your boys and play him. Like, it's so many spins for rapping Drake, man. Yeah,
it is. It's funny too, because his last album, Scorpion, like I said, I wasn't the rap songs on there I did actually like, but kind of like you were saying, some of the R&B like slower, I wasn't like crazy big on those. And I hope his next album isn't like a bunch of filler songs. He said it's supposed to be more concise, so I'm hoping like 12, 13 songs, maybe like 9 rap somewhere. I'm hoping it's mainly just like rap dominant.
I have no opinion of another Drake album, because he pushed it back, and that got me salty. Yeah. That got me salty. So I have zero opinion of a Drake album right now. When he drop it, okay, I'm gonna look at it. But as of now, I'm just like, man, forget you, Drake. You don't care about us out here waiting for your music.
I hate the fact that this man dropped his trailer in like November, saying it's coming out in January. Then we get to January, and he's like, "Oh no, never mind." Just like, what, you wait for like 2-3 months?
I did not understand anything that happened from January to this EP dropping. I have no clue.
None of it. And we were talking about Baby too. Yeah. As far as like being on there with Drake, and you were talking about how big of a accomplishment it is for him to be on here for a second time with Drake.
Yeah.
And we just look at that. If between Ross's verse on Lemon Pepper Freestyle and then Baby's, you said you thought Baby's was better, right?
Baby's killing Rick Ross's verse on. I'm not. No disrespect to Ross's verse on Lemon Pepper, but Lil Baby has a Lil Baby flow. You feel me? Like his style is mastered. Like if Lil Baby pull up on your track, you know what you're gonna get. And I feel like there's not a lot of artists that can say that right now. And that's why he got a Drake feature on an EP that millions of people listened to that night.
And see, one of the things I didn't really think much about was, okay, so his first drop with Drake was 2018.
Yeah.
His one now is 2021. So that window of time shows you that he was still actually really relevant to go for that long without doing anything to then making something. So I thought that was something that was like really underplayed, kind of.
You said for Drake, right?
For Baby.
For Baby? And, but Baby be working though. He has features. Yeah. He has features all across the board. Like
he does.
Literally, if you a big time, I feel like right now your passage is either Drake or Lil Baby in the pinnacle of rap.
Ooh. I'm here for that conversation. I'm here for that.
Just because of the clout behind a Baby verse. You're not just gonna be no regular dude. You can't even be a semi-regular dude and get a Baby verse.
Right.
And I would say the same. I mean, that's obviously the same for Drake. I feel like Drake not gonna just do no random verses. He stopped that with what's his name? Block Boy.
Block Boy JD.
Yeah, he stopped. That was the last time Drake did Charity. That was the last time he did that.
Yeah, and looking back on it, bro, so like that song will pop up every now and then on my shuffle, and I don't think it's aged that well
at all. That song probably did good that summer, that club season, and then no. I'm not
looking back on it, I'm like, and even the video is cringy because they're like in like a high school gym, and it's like a bunch of dudes just like crammed together. And I'm like, okay, like what was the point of this?
I remember they were saying like, how much did they have to pay Drake? And they were like, probably every dude in that video contributed to paying Drake for that verse. And I was like, oh, that's a terrible rumor. That's a terrible rumor to have.
It is. It is. And, we were talking earlier, too, about, so you have Lil Wayne, who's worked a lot with Drake, Future, and Rick Ross. So I think that whole, I think personally they're kind of underrated, but if you had to rank Wayne, Future, Rick Ross, all working with Drake over the years, how would you rank them?
Wayne is first on my list because Wayne is Wayne. His bars have been at a crazy pinnacle for so long, and the fact that he was blessing Drake with verses when Drake was still on the come up. Drake wasn't even Drake then when he was getting Wayne verses like that. Right. So I'm putting him first. Second is Future. Future is kind of in that same category. Me personally, like I swear, I was in college for 4 years.
Yeah.
Future had an album run at least all of them years.
Yeah.
And just that alone, I'm like, man, Future been running stuff for a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to put him there, and then I'm gonna have to take Rick Ross's third. No disrespect, I like a Ross verse, but he not beating no Wayne or a Future verse.
Yeah, and see, so it's funny because this kind of talks to your point about Future's run. So I think Lil Wayne, his like maybe 08 to like 11 or 12, his run. I think Future has one of the best runs in hip hop, at least in our lifetime. Because, bro, I'll tell you, I'm still a huge fan of DS2.
Yes, I was just about to say DS2's hard.
DS2.
So what was it? Is it called Monster or something like?
He has like Evil, like Monster, all like.
He just has like every album has a song on it, or two songs that just went way past what the album did.
Yeah,
and
Stick Talk was the one for me. Stick Talk was mine.
Yeah, Stick Talk was hard. Stick Talk was hard. And that's what I'm saying. Like Future tapped into a market of like people that like not no hood people. Yeah. But like it was just a weird market that he tapped into. Like these dudes want to hear me talk crazy, but you feel me? Like I ain't no like just gutter hood. You know what I mean? Like that real hood sound. Like that's not Future,
bro. And I will tell you, I knew Future talked to a bunch of different audiences when I was in high school still. And we had the most like country bumpkin kids putting Future lyrics as their like Instagram caption. And at that moment I was like, I knew it's over.
I did when Future started tapping into people like that. I'm like, hey, that's tough to do. That's basically what Drake has been able to do at the pinnacle of his career. He's in literally every type of person at least knows who Drake is. And
yeah,
no matter what is their favorite genre, you know what I mean?
If you listen to him or don't, you basically at this point you know who he is.
Exactly.
And there's another dude too I want to talk about who everybody knows who he is, like first name basis type. And I'm wondering, was Drake throwing shots at Kanye, or did it sound like he was really trying to? Because I can't really tell what was going on with this whole thing.
Hold on, what was that verse? What was that verse that he said?
It didn't sound like it was like an attack on him. It said, I know it said something about Jesus and I'll need Jesus or something. And I was like,
my thing,
I was like, all right.
I say this about any time I hear a questionable verse or somebody's like, oh, he sent some shots to him. It's music. Like,
it is.
Everything low-key a shot at the end of the day. Like, Drake be talking about all the money he be spending and taking dudes' girls. Like, who is those about? Who is those verses about? You know what I'm saying?
So, was it when we shooting in the gym?
Exactly. Like, who is he talking to? Who is he talking to when he said that?
Exactly. I still listen to that song. Like, who is Drake talking about? This is like 2013. I'm like, who is he even talking about?
Who knows? So that's why I'm like people probably reach him talking about it. It was for Kanye or about Kim or all that, but hey, that beef is still unsolved though.
I see. Here's my thing with like the Drake and Kanye thing. I just feel like at this point for Drake, like it's not even like worth addressing anymore, man. Like
no.
I just feel like Kanye is in such like a bad place that like it's just for Drake, it's almost just like it's like a distraction.
It is. It definitely is. And I almost think Kanye knows that as well. He knows Drake ain't gonna give him no attention. So I feel like that's why it low key just died off because they was both like, all right, this is this is stupid.
I'll tell you, bro. And looking back in retrospect too on that whole thing of like 2018. So I personally think that Drake's Duppy freestyle was better than Pusha T's diss at Drake. I think Pusha T has some good content. He has some good information to shed on Drake. Okay, Drake has a kid, but listening to it, I'm like, I think Drake outbarred Pusha T in that.
Drake, first of all, Drake won the beef because Drake was smart enough to make his diss songs actual songs. Yeah. That alone was smart. Like, who would have thought to do that? Like, nah, I'm gonna make a banger and I'm gonna diss him in it. And I'm like, when I seen that, I was like, Pusha's not gonna win this. This is not Pusha's game. Pusha T is a straight rap about drugs on beats. That's his only lane. So for him to go into to try to get up to where Drake was doing he did Charged Up, he did the back to back, like that, all that stuff was just crucial. Like
I'm not gonna lie to you, that was the point I knew. I said, because I remember exactly what I was doing the first time I heard back to back. I was just waking up, brushing my teeth, and I was like, oh, Drake dropped a new song. I'm like, let me go check this out. Turns out it was back to back, and I was like, oh, I told my brother, I said, you gotta listen to this. I was like, this is kind of nice.
Like, what? Who are we putting on people to diss songs? Like, that's how I knew Drake was killing Pusha T. I'm like, they playing back to back in the club. They was playing back to back on the Ox. It's a diss song.
That's unheard of.
that is so crazy to me, man.
Yeah, I remember I went to a party in college, and that was the first song they played, and I was just like, at that point, it's on the radio, and at no point in my life have I ever heard of this song like that.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, Pusha T was on the wrong side of history with that one.
I think he was too. Looking back on it, I'm like, because even the whole thing Drake has a kid, it's not like people talk like bad about it now. It's almost like you see him post pictures, like he embraces it. So really, I think it was cool for the time, but like, here we are 2-3 years now later. I don't think it really means much.
No. Just because, a lot of people take in, I feel like, privacy a lot more seriously, and to out his kid was just like, okay, that's okay, I guess, but we didn't really care that much.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I think Drake even now it seems like in these songs he dropped on his EP that he's like being more open about like his social life and stuff like that. And I think if you're more open with it and you just like put it all out there, there's not really much people can say about you.
Well, what I always told people about Drake verses and Drake bars is they only Drake verses and Drake bars. Can't nobody can't nobody say a Drake verse about his lifestyle, about, you know what I mean, the things that he's done or the things that he's doing. So that all goes into his style now. So that openness and that this is Drake, that's cool. That's something that a lot of people, I think, will definitely influence rap and music as far as just be you. Rap about you, your life. Like, rap about what relates to you, and people will follow along, huh?
And it's funny you say that too, because I actually read a article, it was probably a couple months ago, and they were talking about how Akon thought Drake sounded like Eminem. And the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe not as an artist, but, you know, being open about yourself. I think they both do that in different ways. So, bro, I'm looking forward to doing more episodes with you, man. I think our conversations were definitely good.
Yes.
Ready to dive into the music library more and see what else is out there. So I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, for sure. You too, man. I mean, I appreciate you reaching out for this opportunity and for us to both grow as, you know what I mean, content creators, you know what I mean, and just being lovers of music. And I think one of our goals is definitely to connect with people, and feel like one of those goals to connect with people in music and entertainment, and then as you do sports and things like that, like our network will continue to grow, and it's gonna be fun, man.
It definitely will. And bro, and you know, when all this craziness is over, we could even possibly look at, you know, do it like linking up doing this and then make it even better. So for sure. Well, this is episode 1 of season 1, the third shift. Cantley Elliott plays review here with my man Malik. Go follow his stuff too. He does a lot of great stuff. And we'll definitely have more of these episodes up on YouTube every Friday night.
Yes. Yep. Every Friday night. We're gonna try to upload probably around like 8, 7, you know what I mean, when people getting comfortable at the house.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, this is the first episode of the third shift, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.